Network. And I've got the one and only, y'all, Lucretia Hill. Listen, Lucretia is going to be at our maternal health convention, which is taking place April 4th at Washington State University. I am so pumped for her to come because she is not only a leader in our community, but I always call her like the Harriet Tubman Moses, moving us through some crazy stuff. But one of the things that I love most about her is that she's about teaching, she's about listening, and on top of that, allowing you to grow in your own lane. She's probably seen all of our journeys here in Spokane as leaders, and we have like these pieces of development that we need, and she just says many wise things that help us grow and develop. So I want to welcome Lucretia Hill, like AKA Lou, to this conversation. Focus on what is grassroots movements. What are they? So look here, Lou, tell us a little bit about who you are and how did you even get in the grassroots movement? I never even asked that.
Gosh, I can say that, I was born and raised here in Eastern Washington. And like many of us, especially people of color who were born here, I think we all wanted to leave and never come back. And I too was one of those people. Um, I got my bachelor's degree. I grew up in Hilliard, went to, Longfellow, Gary, and Rogers. Did not graduate from Rogers, got my GED because I was a teen mom. And so many of the challenges that grassroots organizations addressed are ones that I have experienced firsthand.
Mm,
Although I did not get my start in grassroots orgs, I got my start in a grassroots org that turns into a juggernaut of an org, which are boys and girls clubs. And so when I graduated from Eastern with a bachelor's in my undergraduate in psychology, really looking at research, I ended up at a boys and girls club in the inner city of Las Vegas. And
wow.
I got real life experience about not just nonprofit work. And the biggest gift that Boys and Girls Club gave us was they really educated us about the industry we were in, not just youth service, but the industry of nonprofit. And I took that education very seriously in how I was able to be a manager in those spaces and a leader in those spaces and a
Mhm.
learner in those spaces. And so, how I got to grassroots nonprofit work was I had been harmed by traditional processes. Uh,
Yeah.
Boys and Girls Club was a great catalyst. It took me from Las Vegas to Southern Oregon and rural Oregon to back home to Spokane. And then I was recruited by a philanthropic entity and had my heart broken and swore I would never
Mm,
come back to nonprofit work again. And in the for-profit sector, um, as things change, I was brought in to start a project called Spectrum. And
mm.
I always tell the story that when Ash came to me and was like, I want to start a center for LGBTQ people in Eastern Washington, I said, nobody will fund that. That won't get funded.
Mm.
Um, and
Wow.
this all kind of coincided and then I was like, okay, I'll step my toe in. I also was getting my MBA. I really appreciate the internal functioning of an organization. And so
Hmm.
as I was brought back into to nonprofit work, the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And I was exposed to mutual aid and I was exposed to more grassroots organizing. And what I saw in our grassroots organization is a quick response to gather community and respond to a need. And what we
Yeah.
saw during 2020 was many of these through the pandemic, they could get vaccinations out quicker. They could get information and resources out directly to the people who needed it most because they are not just an organization, they are the people that they are serving. And
Mm.
really just catalyzed me, one, through the development of Spectrum to be a solvent organization, but also the beauty that I was seeing in people like Stephanie and Kira and Ryan and these different people
Yes.
bringing together nonprofit entities who came from the community that they were serving. And I was like, ooh, something's here. These entities need to be nurtured and loved on.
Yeah.
And through that time frame, I also came back to philanthropy to really think about how do we support these ecosystems of grassroots organizations and help them live their mission and stay connected to community.
Ugh, I love so much that you are talking about um, nurturing grassroots organizations and how to empower them so that they can do the mission and do that vision and really accomplish the goal and really seeing something beautiful develop in our community. What do grassroots organizations mean to a city? Like, if you, I always say you could tell the heartbeat of a city according to the organizations that are there. And if you want to have a healthy community focused on health initiatives, the social determinants of health, you've got to have all of these different grassroots organizations that encompass a lot of those pieces to keep things moving and flowing and keeping them empowered. So, tell us a little bit about that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think national organizations serve their place. And I will never take away as someone who came from large national organizations that they are a part of the ecosystem, but there is something very special by a community who says, hey, we need something, let's make it happen. And that's what you see in grassroots organizations is folks who said, hey, this isn't being filled and we need to fill it. And that came to when I was able to come to Waters Meet. One of the things that we were embarking on was changing our grant strategy. And we did have the gift of Initize, I think bold decision to fund that first funding of nonprofit. I had never,
Yes.
and granted, I'm new. I had never in my life seen large foundations say, hey, we're going to fund grassroots entities. We're going to fund entities who haven't been formally established, who had, fiscal sponsors who were in idea stage, who didn't have employees yet. And I was like, ooh, this is fun. And so we had the gift at Waters Meet when I came on board 3 years ago to say, hey, what does our grant strategy look like when we know this information and we center grassroots organizations? Because we learned through the pandemic, they solve our problems and they have really creative
Yes.
ways and they're deeply, deeply connected to the community. And we are a place-based foundation. It was also really important to me to work. Knew I wanted to go back into philanthropy, but I wanted to do place-based work. I wanted to really look at like that generational, that deep commitment to the place I live. And so we looked at supporting not just the organizations in their capacity to do the work, but also the humans that show up every day. And I think we don't, just like any small business, these dollars stay in our community. When we pay living wages to grassroots employees, they are reflections of the people that they serve, and that money stays in our community. Like just from an economic development standpoint, that has much deeper ability to impact our community through employment and through problem solving than many of the other organizations at that participate at the national level. And they also have this unique flavor and ability to move and grow towards need. And I just want to support that and love on the people who I'm in deep relationship with to get that done.
So my daughter, y'all, is at home today. She's not feeling good. She just let me know the package for all of our artwork just came in. So we are very excited about Black Maternal Health Week right now in our home. When you were talking about grassroots organizations being funded, what do you think are the top three hardest things for grassroots organizations to adjust to and learn? Because let me tell you, the amount of times that I've had to come to Hulu and be like, know what I'm doing, and I'm scared half to death.
It is scary. And I know this one, like I know it from personal experience. I know this from my deep, like special interest of understanding nonprofits and understanding economic ecosystems, but it is their internal operations and being committed to a strong internal operation. It is staying the mission and not chasing dollars, and it's fundraising. And those three things which is honestly, these are things that are skill related and best practice related that can be taught. I think, that also then wants me to shift to like what you don't have to teach a nonprofit, which is to how to connect with community and how
Yep.
to know what our community needs. And
Yep.
they innately have the solutions for the challenges our communities face. And so those three things, internal infrastructure, finance or fundraising, and what did I say the third one was? Oh,
Um,
staying the mission. Um,
yes.
so easy
Staying the
to
mission.
chase dollars and develop
Mm.
programs instead of teaching our funders why this mission is what we're funding. And I do think
What's important? Consistency.
better at that. Like they're not just
Yep.
like spitting out programs that are very narrow, but I think those are the three challenges that our
Yeah.
grassroots face.
100%. When you talked about fundraising, we literally have been battling with like, okay, do we do a fundraiser? Do we not? Because they cost money. They do different things. And speaking of that, on the 17th, putting the plug in here, on the 17th of December, we have our Dear Sis event called Black Women's History in Motion. And I am very excited about this because we're using fashion, we're using music, and we have 10 clothing sets that we are auctioning off. And then we have jewelry that was donated to us that we're also going to be auctioning off. And it's super reasonable. Like I think it starts at like $40. Like we are looking to have people support and feel like, hey, you know what, my dollars matter. And my even though I'm only donating $100, that's still making a difference. A lot of our work that we do at the Shades of Motherhood, it's those dollars that really support us and help us develop and grow. We're very proud that a lot of our work has been centered in community and community is supporting that. And so you brought up three really important things, and I y'all need to hear this because the movement that we created at the Shades of Motherhood Network has been such a challenge, and a lot of people really don't know our full story. And so we have one of our little magazines that we put out every year. And it actually goes in depth to see all of the numbers. One of the numbers that shocked me the most is 47,000 minutes of free licensed counseling. Like, that is insane to me. The amount of time that we have been able to get people from a doula to peer support to counseling to all of these different spaces. We call it our solar system. And within our solar system, to help people find where they need to be, where they need to grow, because we can't always be everything for everybody. And those fundraisers help us to keep those initiatives going and staying the mission. That is a very interesting phrase, and I love how you said it because it really hits me, which is staying the mission. And we're going on our fourth year, and I was just talking to everybody. I'm like, we need to make a whole different business plan because we went back and we looked at our business plan, and I realized that um, this is not where we're at anymore.
Hmm.
It's still where we're at, but a lot of this stuff we've already done, and we've learned from it, and we had to shift it around. And so we're going to be taking like the next month. I think it's like the middle of April all the way till May to really focus in on our programs and focus in on where people are at in their lanes and how they want to grow, how they want to develop. And it's hard to do that as a grassroots organization because when you have a larger organization, you get to keep everything going and do all that stuff, right? Where you have to say, you know what? Nope, we need to take a second. We need to pause. We need to regroup. And so I really love that you said that. And I just cannot wait to um, see that, see this grow and I'm just inspired by what you just said. And
Well,
so,
and
yeah,
missions shouldn't be stagnant. Like I'm not saying
yeah,
like stick to write your mission and then stick to it. No, I
yeah.
think that the beauty of your grassroots is that you are able to like take it all in and be able to say, okay, we've done this. What is this shift? What have we learned that might shift this mission or shift our vision a little bit? And I think it's so good to like revisit that business plan and come back and say, okay, where are we at now after we've done a bunch of stuff? And I think that that is part of like being attentive to that mission.
Yes. So what can we expect from you on April 4th, y'all? Because it's coming up this weekend. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be sharing and how you're going to be empowering people that are listening to you.
I'm going to share about how the ability for grassroots organizations to organize our community and engage in
Mm,
and also being really thoughtful about like these are avenues of resistance and liberation and education
mm,
and social change. And it's not that we all need to start a nonprofit. Please, God, don't do that. We know how I feel about I
please.
actually hate nonprofits. That is my
Yeah, me too. Get out of here. I don't like none of
It's
this.
very rare that I look at someone and be like, nope, you have the not that I would stop anyone from developing something they believed in, but a lot of times what you can also expect is that I'm going to talk about how important it is for everyone to engage at some level with your grassroots nonprofits. They can help you with political organizing and policy restructuring. They can help you be engaged in civic conversations that are happening in our community, and they can help you be part of the solution to the
Yeah.
challenges that mean something to you. Many times, and like I like to, many of us are gentrified in some ways. Like we have been
Mm,
the receiver of services to then find ourselves in positions where we don't need those services anymore. And so, what does it mean to stay connected and understand and be supportive of? You know,
yeah.
and I can reflect on that. I was the board president, the founding board president for Spectrum 2S LGBTQIA plus Center for 8 years. And
Mm,
in that time, I always had to remind myself, I I am not who our organization always serves, although I was that person. And I had to
mm.
remember that the challenges that I don't face today are because of the intervention of programs like that.
I
I'm
love
a
it.
big believer in SNAP because when I was a teenage mom, SNAP had many of the resources available to make sure I could pay my rent and keep my electricity on for my siblings
Yep.
and for my children. And I
Yep.
still give back to that organization today and serve on their board for those reasons. So there's so many, and even though it seems like a big giant organization, that started out as a grassroots organization. We can
I
have
love that.
big functioning organizations that are still grassroots. And the
I
more
love it.
people that find their path in serving those grassroots organizations, they're actually serving their civic duty, they're serving their internal soul duty, and they're serving solutions to so many of the challenges our communities face today.
Yep. I love this. I am so grateful for you sharing your journey. I'm pumped about Saturday. It is going to be absolutely amazing. We have over 20 doulas that are grassroots organizations that are going to be there. We help them set up their websites, their tablecloths, their banners, really get them connected to what they are passionate about. We call these passion projects. And so we want to invite everybody out. We want to show not only the workforce development, but we call it the healing workforce, which
Yes.
is a different path, which is people that are passionate about certain things going on their own healing journey, but also how do we have enough people in our community to address the things that we need to. And I really believe in the power of grassroots organizations. And I think that will be my heart for forever, understanding those grassroots movements and how they can move a community and make real big change. So thank you so much, Lou. I appreciate you so much stopping by. I know you're hecka busy, but you guys listen, April 4th, it's not too late. Get your ticket, okay? It
I'm
is going to
excited. I'll
fill
be
up
there.
fast. Yes, it's going to fill up so fast. And so what I love about this too is we always look at people and we're like, "Oh, you're a leader right now. This is what you're there. You've met all the standards, all the status." But what we've done is ask our doulas to actually talk about what they're passionate about. So they're going to be doing like 30-minute presentations, and that's where the stuff comes in. They can do in a lot of different ways, but I'm excited to see how everything will show up and show out, and get each doula in there to share and also connect. Like we want to connect with people. And so in the morning from 9:30 to 12, we're going to have our workshops with our doulas open. And then from 12 to 1, we've got Lou coming in. At the end of that, we're going to have like a little doula appreciation. We're also going to be serving lunch at and then from 1 to 3, we have open tables and just open markets. So people are going to be there doing a lot of different things. And I encourage you to stop by. And it's Easter weekend. This is the crazy part. You know, Easter is connected with fertility, right? That's so weird. And I didn't even plan that. And so somebody brought it up to my attention. They're like, that's like Easter weekend. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so we go right along with that. So come by, connect with us, learn more, and learn how you can empower yourself in community. So thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you.